Rev up your engines! People always ask me, Scotty, I want a good SUV, but I don't know. Should I get a hybrid SUV or a normal SUV? I'm going to show you the differences on this 2010 Toyota Highlander hybrid. Of course, the basic vehicles are the same. They got all kinds of room inside, in the front, in the back, and in the trunk. Pop everything down and fit a whole bunch of stuff in there. And yes, the hybrids get better gas mileage because, like a Toyota Prius, they have a gasoline engine, but they also have the hybrid synergy drive. Only in this case, it's a V6 engine and has more horsepower to begin with, so it bumps the horsepower up a lot more than the little Prius. A regular modern V6 Highlander engine, gasoline, puts out about 270 horsepower. When you add the hybrid, to 306 horsepower. You get a little bit more power, but the level of complexity and expense that goes into a hybrid, I don't know if it really warrants that. Now, this hybrid Highlander gets 27 miles a gallon in town and 25 miles a gallon on a highway, which is decent for a vehicle this size. No great shakes, but decent for the size. While a non-hybrid V6 gets about 20 in town and about 26 on a highway. So on a highway, really, there isn't any difference. So when you consider the extra parts you're going to pay for the hybrid vehicle if you buy it brand new, you're paying a lot more money. You're getting a tiny bit better gas mileage. This isn't like a Toyota Prius, a little low-slung, highly efficient vehicle that's going to get 50-something miles a gallon or more in town. No, it's a big SUV. They can never be all that efficient just because of their weight and lack of aerodynamics. So if you're thinking about buying one of these hybrid just to save money on gas, you save a little bit on gas, but hey, you're paying a lot more for the vehicle. You're never going to recoup your investment. But as an overall investment, you never want to buy one of these things with high mileage used because the repairs can be astronomical. This one's 10 years old. The rear end, the differential started to go out. It's starting to whine. There's a differential. And the problem with this thing is it's both hydraulic and electronic because it's got the hybrid drive system. To replace this unit, it's going to cost you at least $2,500 if you use an original Toyota replacement unit, and they're so complicated, I have yet to find anybody who really knew how to rebuild them correctly. And the same thing goes with the power unit in the front. Gasoline engine, and also an electric motor. The electric motor is a motor and generator, giant assembly, built into the transfer case. I've seen them go bad, and I've seen those things cost $5,500 to replace because of the insane labor and the insane parts. And again, I even talked to experts that only work on hybrid vehicles, and they say, Scotty, you know, we tried to rebuild those generator assemblies, but it never held up. We just have to replace them. They cost a lot of money when they go out, and don't be fooled by these remanufactured batteries when they do. No, I looked up a price on the internet for a replacement battery for this. Oh, only $1,949 for our replacement battery. Now you might think $1,949 is a lot for a battery. Well, I got news for you. That's not even a new battery. That's a remanufactured battery. If you want a brand new hybrid battery for that, the Toyota dealer sells them. They're $6,800. I'm not making this up. $6,800. But those are real brand new batteries. There's a problem with the remanufactured ones. The remanufactured ones are just that. Realize they're giant hybrid batteries that have a bunch of cells in them, a whole bunch of them. And as they age, let's say I had one the other day that was 20 years old and it was going bad, some of the cells go bad. They have a machine that checks the whole hybrid one at these rebuilding places. And it tells them this cell's bad, that cell's bad, this cell's good, that cell's bad, and they replace the bad ones. But take the case of the one I was working on the other day when it was 20 years old. If they replace some of them, that means that some of the old cells that are 20 years old are still in that hybrid battery pack. And guess what? They're going to go out over time. The remanufactured ones never last as long as the new ones by a long stretch. I've seen remanufactured ones, sometimes they'd last 2 or 3 years maybe. Some of these original ones lasted 20 years. Even though you save money, $1,600 something is still a lot of money. You're not getting something that's going to last and last and last using the remanufactured battery. If you're not willing to spend $7,500 with labor and tax replacing the battery on one of these, you're not going to get a lot of long life when the battery does go out. Now, of course, they are Toyotas, so they last a long time. Now, if you don't mind buying one of these things brand new and paying extra for a hybrid, and you're planning on getting rid of your car before it has 150,000 miles or something on it, maybe you're totally happy with the little bit extra power, the little bit better gas mileage. Hey, it's your money and your choice. But really, don't ever think about buying a used high mileage one, because they're just money pits waiting for you to fall into them when all this hybrid technology starts breaking down. Why do you buy a Toyota in the first place? For ease of repair, little maintenance. Rarely do they break down, and long life. If you're the type of person like me, 20, 30 years, hundreds of thousands of miles, meh, you should think twice about buying a hybrid. To give you the perfect analogy, the owner of this car, his previous one was a V6 Highlander 2, but it was a non-hybrid. It went pretty much trouble-free for over 550,000 miles. This one, differential, the rear end starting to go out at 150,000 miles. That tells you the entire story in a nutshell. Now, technology can be perfectly fine, but sometimes these things have gone too far for what you actually get back in return. In an SUV, hybrid technology has all the drawbacks of the complexity of a Toyota Prius, but it really doesn't have the positive aspects of insanely high gas mileage, because they're different types of vehicles. It's a big thing for lugging a bunch of people around. Prius is smaller, more aerodynamic, and they do get fantastic gas mileage. Like I said, these things never will. So trying to squeeze a little bit more out of them, maybe not such a hot idea if you're looking in the long run of keeping them forever. So in this case, listen to Scotty. Yeah, I'm kind of a weird mechanic. I'm telling people, don't buy cars that break down. You think I'd tell them to get cars that break down? But I'm not that kind of mechanic. I'm like my grandfather. I care about my customers. And if you want to take my advice, think twice before you buy a hybrid SUV. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Alvaro Canto 90 says, Scotty, what do you think of the Honda CVT? I'm not a CVT fan of those constantly variable transmissions. It's newer technology, but they are making them better. And Honda does their own design. I haven't seen a whole bunch of problems with them yet. The Nissan ones, and Nissan owns Jatco, and Jatco makes them for a bunch of companies, Subaru, different companies. They're terrible. I'd never buy one of those. But when you look at both the Honda, which makes their own, and Toyota, the Aisin transmission, they seem to be relatively reliable. I just don't like new technology till it's been out. Now, if I see that the Hondas and the Toyota CVTs are going 250, 300,000 miles, trouble-free, yeah, and I'll tell people, hey, that's what I've seen. But now, eventually, they're probably all going to, will have no choice. So let's hope that both Honda and Toyota make good ones and don't have too many problems with them. Because that's the future. They're cheaper to make and they get better gas mileage. T. Harrison says, hey, Scotty, I got a 2016 Honda Civic, 66,000 miles. Is it too late to change the automatic transmission fluid? No. The Accords had a lot of automatic transmission problems because they're a bigger engine, heavier vehicle, but the Civics are smaller. And most of my customers, the Civics, they didn't have problems with automatic transmissions. They're Japanese design, so they don't really shed a lot of clutch material into the fluid like an American car does. 66, change it now. And then really, if you want to be on a conservative side, change it every 30, 40,000 miles. Those are so simple to do. They got a drain plug. You take it out, it drains out. Put the drain plug in. Above it is the fill plug. You take that out, you pump fluid in till it comes out of that, and that's it. You can do it in 10 minutes. So every 30, 40,000 miles. And it's a good idea to do it. Only use Honda fluid, because Hondas are very particular about the fluid they have in them. But it's an easy job. You can do it yourself. The Reloaded MC said, hey, Scotty, our Nissan CVT transmission is better built in England than in America. All right. Well, I know they're not built well in America. Don't live in England, so I have no personal experience with those. But I have friends in England, and they don't seem to have the problems that the ones over here do. Perhaps they're made someplace else, the ones they sell in England. I don't know. But also realize that England's a different climate, too. It's a small place. What we think is an afternoon drive in Texas goes from one end of the country to the other in England. So they don't do the big driving that we do here, and they don't put the mileage on like we do. And a lot of it is shorter distance driving. They're not being strained. So, because the guys I know in England, they're not particularly griping about them breaking down all the time. They could be built someplace else. I don't know the pluses and minuses of where they're built, the ones they're selling in England, but I know here in the United States, they're nothing but problems. You want to stay away from them in the United States. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.